And good day. Um, I had an opportunity here, and I wanted to go ahead and take advantage of it. The Messerschmitt P.1099 B-2 is now fully upgraded. We have the rear guns installed, the 320 millimeters, and between it and using the IL-40P, you really get a chance on the same maps doing the same thing against more or less the same opposition to really do a comparison. And the first thing I'll say is, well, wait a minute, Tier, this is not the same thing. They're one tier difference, and the IL-40P is fully spec'd at this point. Well, not fully spec'd. I bring a few more things up to ultimate, but it's not an entirely fair comparison, and you'd be absolutely correct. But here's the issue that you need to be aware of. There are still differences. The difference between an IL-40 and an IL-40P is not amazing. You don't get into it and think, oh, what a different aircraft. No, it flies the same way, it fights the same way. There's not that big a difference in the forward gun power. The loadout is not that different. It is a little tougher, and because it's spec'd now, it is a lot tougher. And so those things are still going to hold up, but even that is, the majority of it is coming from the airframe itself, not from the specking of the aircraft. There's some of it, and I will point that out as we go along. But the feel of the aircraft and how they operate is still going to be more or less the same. Now, I will do this again when we get the 1099, the 1102 version of the aircraft, the version 10 of the aircraft, and we'll go ahead and put that up for you as well. The biggest thing to be, but I wanted to give you a comparison. It's not that often you get to do that, and I thought you guys might enjoy that. And so that's what we're going to do here. Basically, the 1099 is the more maneuverable of the two aircraft. And it has a decent amount of firepower. It has the forward guns on it, the 30 millimeter high velocity cannons are amazing. And the bomb load is every bit the equal of the IL-40. And of the two, there's changes. The 1099 is the more maneuverable, it's a faster aircraft, it carries a better bomb load. As it sits in the Tier 9 configuration, it does not have near the rear firepower of the IL-40. Okay, to the tune of about 50 DPS, maybe a little more. In fact, I know it's a little more. The bombs, the two 500-pounders, well, the four 500-pounders, let's get things right here from the get, are more useful in taking out large targets because you can space them 1, 2, 3, 4 right down the center of a mining plant. And that guarantees that if you do it at all correctly, you'll take it out every time, and that's about 60% of the hit points of the ground target, the entire base. So it's something you very much want to do, and that makes it relatively easy. However, the differences are in the rockets. Now, the IL-40P is a beast. I mean, it is an armored behemoth in comparison. It's not nearly as well. It's, as you can see when the next video comes up, you'll notice that the 1099s are running away from it, and the next iteration is going to be faster, right? And some things equal out if you'll take a look at the two and compare them. As you will see that the rear guns begin to balance out. You're getting about 240, and you're getting a little bit more, and I do mean a little bit more, the twin 23 AM-23 cannons. But the turret is better on the both aircraft, the IL-40 and the IL-40P, compared to the 1099. Now, I have not actually crawled inside the 1102 and see if that's gotten any better. But from the looks of it, it doesn't look like it's going to get much better. So we'll see. I hope to be wrong. There are cases where you absolutely desire to be right. This is a case where I hope I'm wrong. The arcs on the cannons are not the same at all. And so that hurts a little bit. So when you get into the IL-40, and what I have to show you is an IL-40P, the hit points are more. Now this is, when I bring it up, you'll see that the IL-40P actually has, then I'll come towards the end, it has the reinforced airframe, it has the reinforced tail, it has, so forth and so on. But as it sits, you're talking about 3,100 points of hit points on it. Again, you have to bear in mind that this is a Tier 10, and I'm comparing it to a Tier 9, and that's not at all fair in some regards. And one of them is going to be that the 1102 will have more hit points. It will have a better gun. And so we'll have to highlight that. But when it comes to sheer destructiveness, it is hard to beat the IL-40P by any measure. That thing carries, the 2,000 pounders, which means that in most cases, not all cases, you can drop the bomb in the center of the target and almost always be guaranteed of destroying the entire target. It carries the 4 AM-23s, which do not have the armor-piercing capacity of the quartet of 30 millimeters that you will find on the 1099. Okay, so that might be a big disadvantage, but it spits it out at a rate such that it is just as destructive. You see me toss a bomb sideways here, and it takes out the base. It's gone. No questions, no fuss, no muss. It's just gone. All right, now I'm taking on an armored target here, and away it goes. Well, so the de facto difference between the two planes in frontal armament is non-existent. Okay. Now we've taken the base, we'll move on. And you'll notice I still have a load of 8 rockets, and they're not just any rockets. They're the 132, RP-132s, if I remember correctly. 2 of them will take out just about anything. Some of the larger ones you might have to expend 3. But you always have that reserve. So if your guns aren't enough, you need to take out that target extremely quickly. It's a very hostile environment, which obviously over most bases it is. It has a decided advantage. And right now you're seeing the difference in the rear gun and how wide these arcs are for that rear gunner, which is a tremendous advantage. That gun's all you've got to hold things off, unless you have an extremely attentive fighter crew backing you up. And in most cases, it doesn't matter. So anyway, you drop your single bomb off, it just blows up and you're done. Then when you want to take out additional things, you still have your reserve of rockets. Something you don't want to take out? No problem. So I still have a base over here. So I soften up the AA gun just a little bit, throw some rockets into it. That's the end of that. That thing's fairly immune to bomb blasts, thank God, because people will drop them right on top of you. They don't care. And a lot of them are bots, so, you know, what are you going to say, right? As one of the bots says, the third law of robotics has been repealed. Okay, so the thing's obviously not completely immune to firepower, and we've all been in fighters and shot down IL-40s and IL-40Ps if you're up to that tier yet. The same things apply when attacking this aircraft. You attack it from the sides. You do not attack it from the front. And the reason I say that is you're talking in the 1099, you've got 800 DPS of extremely hard-hitting 30 millimeter cannons, and they're not the bloopers at the final upgrade. They are deadly accurate, very long-ranged, and hit like hell itself. And one or two shots is enough to take out any fighter. And in the case of this, you have the very fast-firing AM 23 millimeters, and they are vicious. As you can see, you know, something wanders in front of you, or you can get a good lead on something from far enough away. It's going to go away very quickly, and I've shot down more GA than you can imagine with this IL-40, and you've seen a lot of it on the videos. I play the IL-40 a lot. You know, being a spec aircraft, when I want to win, I take the IL-40P. It's now specialized. I've got my best captain in there, best tail gunner. It's a wonderful aircraft. So to me, and I'm going to show you the upgrades here, as well as the results of this battle. Ensured destructiveness is very hard to overcome the IL-40P. Great guns, great rockets, great bombs. But it pays for that in a little bit less nimble. It's a little slower. You know, it doesn't roll, turn, yaw nearly as well as the 1099. Now, when I get the 1102, we'll bring this up again. We can put them side by side. We can spec them both out with the same specs, all of which I intend to do. But it was too good an opportunity, and it was something different than talking about burning shores and those very short videos. So a way to give you a little more video time, show the IL-40P doing its job, and the differences I noticed between the IL-40 and the 1099. The 1099 is a little bit more of a dancer, and the IL-40 is a beast. That's the best description I can come up in the short term. Listen, folks, it's getting time to wrap this up, and I want to thank you for watching today. I'd also like you to like the video and to subscribe. Be careful out there, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.